Hello and welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Politics. I'm your host Al Sipek, and with me today I have a special guest, Chuck Massahos, who is a candidate for Sheriff of Rockingham County. Chuck, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem at all. Now we'll start with a little bit of you going over your background and then why you decided to run for office.
Well, my name is Chuck Massahos. I am a candidate for Rockingham County Sheriff. I'm a lifelong resident of Salem, New Hampshire. I've been married to my wife Lisa for 35 years. We have 2 grown children, and come September, we're going to have our first granddaughter. And hopefully she's not born on primary day. We've been all educated in the Salem school systems. I've attended numerous law enforcement training my whole career as a Rockingham County Sheriff. I'm a little different than most candidates. I have 40 years worth of business experience running the family business in Salem, and in 1999 I came up to Londonderry and opened up my own business, the Londonderry BP, on the corner of 102 and Mammoth Road. It's been a great opportunity being up there, and I've met so many nice people, and I've been networking Rockingham County for a long time. Some of the duties that I've performed at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office: I'm a patrol deputy. I've worked civil process, transport. I'm currently on a program until I end up having shoulder surgery in February, Operation Granite Shield, which goes after high-intensity drug activity in Rockingham County. It's an undercover unit that when Sheriff Downing, before he passed away, he secured funding. We're one out of 28 counties throughout the whole United States to get funded by the federal government to fund this program. It's a very great program. We target, drug dealers throughout Rockingham County and try to get them off the street. Like I said, I've been at the Sheriff's Office for 28 years. I know the day-to-day operations. I know what the challenges that law enforcement faces every day. I'm currently endorsed by the High Sheriff, Michael Hero, who finds me to have the utmost integrity and can be fiscally responsible to the budget restraints. I'm endorsed by the current and retired members of the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, elected officials, business, citizens of Rockingham County, the New Hampshire State Police Association, and the local Teamsters 633, who represents all the deputies.
Well, it sounds like you have quite a resume behind you and a lot of support behind you.
Yes, we have. Unfortunately, Michael Downing he passed away 4 years ago, and we saw a need for leadership in the sheriff's office. When Sheriff Downing got elected to the office, he put the sheriff's office in the right direction. One of his biggest projects was to improve the communication center. Rockingham County dispatches for 25 police departments, and I want to say 14 fire and EMS. It's a big responsibility. So Mike's plan was to expand it, and once Sheriff Hero got elected, he fulfilled that plan. After the passing of Sheriff Downing, unfortunately, Sheriff Downing had too much time, so they couldn't really call another election, so it goes to the House of Representatives, the delegations to Rockingham County. So we all approached Mike Hero, who's a 31-year member of the New Hampshire State Police, retired, and he was a lieutenant in the narcotics division. Great person. We've been friends for years, and we convinced him to go in front of the delegation and get that job, and he did. And thank God he did, because he's led that, like I said, he's led the department in such a great direction. And I want to continue that growth. So when, after he was appointed to delegation, unfortunately, Mike could only run for one term, because in our state constitution, you can't be a sheriff at the age of 70. You have to retire. So we got him elected. I worked hard. I ran his campaign. We got him the funds. We went out there. He pushed hard. He's a good person. He got the job done, and he got elected. So the consensus was, well, Mike can only run for one term. So the deputies approached me and said, Chuck, we want you to step up to the plate. A good friend of mine who works for the sheriff's office, you know, he tells people all the time, you know, Chuck didn't just decide one day to run for sheriff. You know, we knew this was coming, and I waited my turn, and to Mike to go out, on his terms. And we needed a strong leader at that time to keep the department going in the right direction. So we decided, I said, well, if you guys want me to run, we have to test the waters. So in a non-political year, we end up having a small fundraiser at the Windham Country Club. Joanne Flynn's a good friend of the family. I've known her for years in Salem. And I said to her, I said, Joanna, we need to use your place to throw a fundraiser. She goes, well, I'm only going to do a fundraiser for you, Chuck. We don't do political fundraisers here. She goes, do you know how many people are going to come to this thing? I says, well, it's either no one's coming, or I said, I can't foresee maybe 50 to 100 people coming to this. It's kind of tough when people aren't really concerned about politics. So we advertised it, we marketed it, and we had 275 people come to a place that holds 100 people. Good thing it was a warm night. I mean, it was a great event. We raised a lot of funds. And unfortunately, I mean, you need to have funds to run for these offices.
Right.
I says, well, looks like we'll commit to it. So we started spreading the word, and about my qualifications, my knowledge of the sheriff's office, and we threw another fundraiser in April at Castleton. And Castleton took very good care of me. They're great people over there. I've known the owners for years. A good friend of mine, Al Letizio, who owns Letizio Foods in Windham. He helped me run our fundraiser, and we brought 375 people to this fundraiser. And we packed the place. So I felt the confidence that I could get the job done. So we've been planning this for the last 2 years. We have the support from the community. Like I said, local business, everybody has jumped on board, and I'm very humble. I mean, for my first political experience, I've always been the guy that's been in the background, running Heroes campaign, helping Sheriff Downing in his campaign, and I've always helped other politicians to try to get their name out and the message out. So being the front man, it's been quite a great experience. And I tell you, honestly, I enjoy it. I love going out talking to people. And, a lot of people don't know what the sheriff's office does. We're a proactive police department. We have 25 full-time deputies. We have 12 reserve deputies. We have 26 bailiffs, a civilian staff. We have 90 full and part-time employees that work for the sheriff's office. Under the state constitution, our primary purpose is to serve civil processing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more that the sheriff's office does. I mean, we have a patrol division, plus our civil processing. We have a transport division. We have a Rockingham County Drug Task Force, which does an excellent job. And if I get elected to sheriff, I'm going to enhance it and try to put more people in it, and continue fighting for state and federal funds to keep these programs like Granite Shield and any operation that we do in that thing. We have a deputy that's assigned to the DEA. He's undercover with the DEA. Great person, very knowledgeable about drugs. He works very well with them. But not only Rockingham County, he's working Rockingham County, the state. They go into Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine. They work the whole area. So it's good to know that. We have a deputy that's assigned to the Internet Crime Unit. We have another deputy that's assigned to the felony warrants, any felony warrants, that works with the U.S. Marshals. We do have our own warrants team too. So, plus we're in charge of the Superior Court, the security of the Superior Court. We have 26 bailiffs that work over there. I think these are last year's numbers. I think we're up to 33 bailiffs. So we're in charge of all the security, all the people coming in and going out of that courthouse. We have our transport unit down at the Superior Courthouse. Last year alone, we transported 8,697 prisoners back and forth to court. We transported 210 involuntary emergency admissions, people going back and forth to the hospitals.
Okay, can you go over what an IEA is? Because
Well-
a lot of people don't have a
Well,
clue as to what
if
that
someone
is.
gets hurt at the jail, or if something's wrong with them, if they have to go to the hospital, we have to transport to them to the hospital, and then we have to provide security. So not only that we're transporting them to the hospital, but we're also providing security. We have to make sure that they're not going to escape, and we have to make sure that the people that do work at the hospitals are safe from if those persons decide they're going to run or flee. So we're there protecting. We're protecting. Well, we have to keep these people in custody, but we also have to protect the people that are around them.
And not only that, but once you have them in custody, you are totally responsible
We're
for their
responsible
welfare,
until
medical or otherwise.
We're responsible until we bring them in and we bring them out. We're responsible for them. And I've done plenty of hospital IEAs. And you have to be. I mean, it's the public safety when you bring these people to the hospital. I mean, some are minor offenses, some are major offenses. And you don't want their family members coming in, or the press, or you don't want them to hurt the nurses or the doctors. It's very important that we protect these people in these hospitals.
I don't think a lot of people realize that you have law enforcement authority throughout the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, the sheriff in Rockingham County we have full power arrest throughout the whole state. Throughout the whole state. And a program like Granite Shield, where we invite other departments to come in and we work off their leads. So we just invited Derry to come in, and we go off their leads, and then we go out and do undercover operations in their towns, or we target different towns. We were in Windham last year, Windham and Atkinson. Last month we were in Epping. We ended up arresting boyfriend, girlfriend, and for a small amount, but that's just one example where hopefully we can work with these people and try to go after where they're buying the drugs from. It's it's very important. You want to try to get these drug dealers off the street. And it's just not about and you want to try to get these people in court and then try to work with them through the process of being a member of society again. It's just not just about law enforcement. We're lucky that Governor Sununu went to the Trump administration, went to the White House twice, and he ended up picking up $65 million that he brought back to the state, just not for law enforcement, but for rehab and treatment, to open up centers. And I think last week they ended up, I'm not sure on the figures, but I think it was another $45 million just for treatment of people that are addicted to drugs.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that, it's fine to arrest somebody for use, but what are you going to do with them? They need the treatment.
Right.
And if the treatment's not there, guess what's going to happen?
Well, the treatment's there, but and the state is working on it. The governor is working on it. I've helped 3 people on this epidemic, And I know one girl in Salem that she did it on her own. She hit rock bottom in Lawrence. The last thing she had was her cell phone, and she pulled it together. I'm very proud of her. You know, she works 2 jobs. She's putting herself through college. She's getting married. She goes around and speaks about it, right? And she's going to graduate from college. She's going to be a radiologist.
That's
so
great.
there is help. You know, there is hope. The problem that these addicts have is, you know, and it was great that the fire departments, Manchester and Nashua, they have safe stations, right? Where if you really want the help and you're willing to go, you go in there 7 to 10 days, they detox you, they have the doctors look at you, and then you go into the rehab. Rehab is only for 30 days. Sometimes it could be 45. It all depends on the person. Not enough time. Not enough time. So I'm sure the state is working on these problems. You know, these kids go into halfway houses and they have to be out by 8 in the morning and be back by 5. What do? You're in the town that you were buying drugs. You're gonna get in trouble.
So do you find a high recidivism rate, or?
It's really not up to the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. I can speak on a personal view. There are people that I've known that have gone to rehab 3 or 4 times, and they've gone back into rehab. It's a mental health issue, you know. I don't want to speak personally for someone that I know, but
Right.
I try to help her out as much as I can. You know, I mean, her parents, boyfriend, everybody's, but it's you have to really want it, you know. She's getting it, you know. She's finally getting it, and hopefully she can complete this process through probation and get back into society again. You know, 2 other people that I know, you know, that girl in Salem and another person that I know, they've completed these programs. They're back to work. They're back in society, and they're living their lives again. I talked to, even with alcoholism, I talked to someone a couple weeks ago that hasn't drank in 30 years. He's been sponsored, and we were talking about recovery. He has a recovery center, and if you want it, you can do it. But you know, the bottom thing is once they hit rock bottom, I think that's the turning point for these kids and adults. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. But what I want to do if I get elected to sheriff is, you have big police departments like Salem, Windham, Londonderry. You have Derry, smaller police departments that arrest these kids or adults. If they're short-staffed, so if a department has 3 or 4 guys or whatever, and they want to ask us to come in and give them assistance, we're going to be there for them, and we'll assist that officer so that officer can get back on the road, right, and be productive, and we'll help them complete that investigation and follow through. I know Seabrook has a great program where if they arrest someone, they follow through on that whole investigation to see if they, and they talk to the families. And it's very important for police to talk to the families because, their kids get arrested for drugs and they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office has the resources, we have the data, right? And the great thing about our offices over the years, we have such a great line of communication with our law enforcement partners. And we work very well together. If they need our help, we're there to help them, If there's any incident that's going on, we're there to assist them. And we work very well with the chiefs in the police departments, all 37 towns and cities in Rockingham County. And it's a good thing to have because we do have a lot of resources. We do have a lot of data. And we can, and like I said, like with Granite Shield, even our Rockingham County Drug Task Force, we're working in their towns. So we need their help too, and they need our help. And we work together to try to get, it's a team effort to try to, get these drugs off the street. It's just not with local police. I mean, even with state police, the DEA, other agencies that are in our state trying to battle this problem.
In your personal opinion, do you find that a lot of people start with prescription drugs? Or? I've heard that before, but I don't know whether it's true or not. But
They've done a lot of studies on it. I think when people get sick and these doctors were overprescribing, you know, like I just had shoulder surgery in February, and the first thing they wanted to give me is oxycodone. I said, that's fine. I only want a few of them. I took one Tuesday afternoon when I got out of the day surgery. I took one Tuesday night. I took one Wednesday morning, and that was it. I sucked it up, you know? And that's the thing. I know someone that just had surgery, and they only prescribed
a small amount.
a small amount.
Right.
So there's a lot of, I went to a class on the dangers of fentanyl, and with the DEA put it on. And even when you go to the hospital, they have fentanyl patches, and they give out like, I think 1.1 milligrams. I'm not sure on the exact number.
Very small
Very
amount
small.
of that stuff.
But it's enough where you don't get addicted to it. I've read stories in the newspapers about a guy that was on heroin, fentanyl. I don't know him personally, right? But he ended up, he got off everything. He was doing fine. He was skiing. He broke his leg, right? And he was, you know, and they, please don't give me any opioids. You know? I don't know how they handled it, but that was his thing. Please don't give me any. So the government's aware of it. The state's aware of it. I think the doctors are aware of it. Like I said, when I went for my shoulder surgery, my doctor gave me a limited amount of pain pills. You don't need it, you know? And I agree with him. I don't need it. I don't want it, you know? But drugs have changed over the years, you know what I mean? Right now, I mean, back in the 90s, it was cocaine, then it went to crystal meth, now it went to heroin. Now from heroin, it's going over to fentanyl.
Carfentanyl.
Right.
Which they use
But
to, you know, put down elephants and
Right,
rhinos.
now they're making on fentanyl, they're making pure fentanyl, and they're making it in pill forms. So they have pill machines, they have dye machines, they can make a bottle of Bayer aspirin, a Motrin, a Advil, all the same colors, right? And make it look like they're just regular aspirins. So that's what law enforcement faces every day, you know?
It's definitely a different world than
It's
when
a
you
different-
started in
it's a
law
different
enforcement,
world.
isn't it?
It's definitely a different world. It's definitely a different world.
So what, other than the vision you shared for the Sheriff's Department, is there anything else? How about your budget-wise? And can you explain how your budget process works? I don't
Well,
think
we just went to an 18-month budget. Well, I think everything starts back on the first of the month. We actually, you know, I mean, being the sheriff, you're an administrator. You're a law enforcement administrator, community leader, and I have all three categories. I've always served my community. You can ask anybody in Londonderry or Salem or even Windham. I've always tried to work with civic organizations. I mean, the Londonderry high school teams are there every Saturday washing cars.
I noticed that.
Yeah, no, it's great. You know, I'd rather see, you know, honestly, it's great because it's great to see kids that
It
want to
is.
raise money for their organizations.
Right.
You know, and they're involved with their schools. You know, and you have to support you have to support your schools. You know, the Knights of Columbus, they do their Christmas drive every year to raise money. You know, I've been to events where we went to Sig Sauer for they were having a fundraiser for suicide awareness of suicide for veterans. So for the deputies and myself and another deputy went. The other deputy can't shoot because he had shoulder surgery. I couldn't shoot, but the other 4 deputies shot, and we raised money for awareness of this stuff. I went to another fundraiser in Windham, the same thing. You know, you have to be involved with your community. You have to be involved with your community.
Totally agree with that.
Totally involved.
So is there, how does your budget, who sets your budget?
Well, the county commissioners set our budget, and then it
Okay.
goes in front. Well, we present our budget to the county commissioner, and then the budget goes to the delegation, and the delegation has the final say in our budget.
So the delegation of all the communities in Rockingham County.
Right. But we have to present our budget to the county commissioners, and then gets presented in front of the delegation. So, the commissioners are setting our budget. But you have to come in there. I mean, number one, it's not our money. It's not our money. I mean, this year our budget is just a little bit over $6 million. We do bring money in through civil processing. But I mean, we stretch a dollar over there. You have to stretch a dollar. We look at every department, and what we need is what we need. I mean, to try to go over your budget. Well, I mean, you want to stay in your means. You know what I mean? I mean, we have a very great organization, a great management team that really works hard on these budgets to make sure that the taxpayers are getting every dollar that we spend.
Well, this is great because I'm sure a lot of people don't even have the faintest idea what the Sheriff's Department does, and you have done a fantastic job of going over everything that you do.
Well, we serve 37 cities and towns within Rockingham County. Rockingham County is a pretty big area. I mean, like I said, we transported 8,697 prisoners last year, and then 200 involuntary emergency admissions. We served 8,312 civil process last year. We made 1,818 traffic stops. We made 734 arrests, and we completed 189 out-of-state extraditions going out of state to bring people back. Actually, one of our deputies is out doing an extradition. He should be back today. The Rockingham County Drug Task Force, we have 14 local officers working on that, plus one deputy, and we conducted last year 56 investigations, and we made 58 arrests. I mean, so we're a very busy police department, but when we're out serving civil process, we're just not serving civil process. Our deputies are out in your neighborhoods. They're putting their paperwork together. They're looking in your neighborhoods. They're in your neighborhoods. So, hey, listen, we're the police. We're looking in your neighborhood. We're looking to see it to make sure that people aren't breaking into your homes, right? We're making sure that the neighborhoods are safe. So we are driving around. And then if there's anything going in town, we're going to assist local law enforcement. We're tuned into their frequency, right? Most of them are on ours. But if a deputy's in Londonderry or Salem or Windham or Derry or whatever, we're on their frequency. And we'll assist. If something's going on, we drop what we're doing. We go assist the local law enforcement, The more cops that are out there, the better off we are.
You're absolutely right. Yes. So we're kind of running out of time.
Okay.
Is there any closing remarks you'd like to make? Tell the
Well,
folks, or?
I'm a little bit different than other candidates running for sheriff. Like I said before, I bring 40 years with the business experience, and you need a good business background when it comes to the sheriff's office.
I was going to mention that. Yes.
It is administrative position. I bring 28 years law enforcement, where I've worked numerous departments over my whole career as a Rockingham County sheriff. And you have to be a good community leader, and I've proved my entire life that I'm involved in my community. The sheriff office, I mean, we have a great bunch of girls and guys that work there. I mean, these people come to work every single day to provide every citizen of Rockingham County. Is there always room for improvement? Absolutely. But we want to keep on going in the same direction that Sheriff Downing started, that Sheriff Hero has continued, and I want to be that sheriff to keep the office in the right direction.
Okay.
And to provide every citizen of Rockingham County the best law enforcement services available. Thank you very much.
Sounds good to me, and thank you
you
for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And as I always say at the end of every show, you as a citizen have one chance to make your voice heard, and that's at the polls. So whatever you do, whatever your political persuasion is, make sure you exercise your right to vote, and thank you for watching.